"My baby has died." This phrase is uttered far too often by parents who are grieving the loss of their young children. Quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, this loss many times is caused by the suicide of their young child. The issue at hand today is, should users under the age of 18 be restricted from using social media sites such as Facebook, given the prevalence of tragic outcomes from cyberbullying? Now, to put it simply, the answer is no. As cruel as this may sound, the answer has to be no. We cannot restrict children from using Facebook because there are three major reasons that I'll bring up to support my theory. The first being, there are a myriad of other reasons why people use Facebook, and there are a myriad of benefits that we simply cannot take away from today's young people. The second is that there are better ways to combat bullying and more effective ways to combat bullying. And the third is that access to Facebook and social media sites actually teaches responsibility, teaches kids responsibility. And I know that sounds perhaps a little bit odd, but I will go into that further when I reach my third point and explain to you how that's true. Then I will present a counter-argument, what many people who disagree with me would say, and I'll show you why my argument is superior to their line of logic. So to go into my first point, and that is that there are a myriad of other uses of Facebook now and other social media sites. Now, they have so many other uses. They range from education to social interaction. Students can go on Facebook, people under the age of 18 can go on Facebook to talk with their peers about perhaps a math problem that they were having trouble with. They could go on to talk with a cousin who lives in a foreign country. There's so very many benefits that Facebook and other social media sites have that we simply cannot take away this from the young people of the world. In fact, if you were to go up to some young person in perhaps the United States and ask them where they get the bulk of their news, of what's going on in the world, where they get their sports scores every day, they may very well answer Facebook, Twitter, because that's what today's children are like. This is what today's culture is. They get more of their information through Facebook, through social media, as opposed to reading the newspaper like people have done for people in previous generations have done. So quite frankly, we cannot take this away from people who rely on it so heavily. It would simply be like taking out the foundation of their learning experience of their lives at this age, and this is simply wrong, and we can't do this. And as I will move forward into now, there are better ways to stop this bullying that we see. Now, everyone can agree that bullying is a problem. This brings me to my second point, that there are better ways to combat bullying. Obviously, bullying is a problem, but the cause of bullying is not the fact that social media is available. Just because there's Facebook, just because there's Twitter, doesn't mean that a bully is going to go out and use it. Bullying has much deeper roots. Bullying can come from broken houses, people with low self-esteem, things such as this. These are the things that we need to be focusing on, not taking away one of the many tools that they have in their arsenal, because quite frankly, they will come up, the bullies will come up with another way to bully the person that they're bullying. They could perhaps bully them at school. They could bully them on their way home. And quite frankly, bullying on social media, at least there is a chance that someone would see it. It's public. It's out there for everyone to see. And perhaps if someone sees the bullying on Facebook or on Twitter, they'll try to stop it. Whereas if a bully intimidates someone with physical violence, perhaps in an alleyway, and tries to beat up, the likelihood of someone helping is so much less. So in this way, social media actually looks to prevent bullying because it's for everyone to see, and it could deter bullies who don't want to be seen bullying other people who want to do it more in the shadows. But this puts it so that everyone can see it. And really, social media also allows for anti-bullying campaigns. If on various pages that people like on Facebook or people follow on Twitter, they can promote anti-bullying that people can see, and that they can advertise this. And this is very important because it helps with decreasing the bullying that we can all agree is a problem. Now, to move on to my third point is that it teaches responsibility. Now, this sounds odd. How could Facebook, how could Twitter teach somebody responsibility? And to sum it up a little bit, we let people under the age of 18 in many countries drink alcohol. We let most countries people under the age of 18 can drive. And the reason that many countries do this is so that they're exposed to these things before they go out into the real world. They have alcohol before they're 18, before they leave their home. They know how to drive before they leave home. These things that they're exposed to before they get out into the real world. Because once they turn 18, they can really do anything. So and I truly feel that they need the exposure to these things. They need exposure to social media just as much as they need exposure to learning how to drive or to drinking alcohol before they leave home, because it teaches them the know-how that they're going to need for the rest of their lives. Because quite frankly, social media is here to stay. It's not going away. Simply, if you take it away from them, they'll get it when they turn 18, and they'll be brand new to it, and perhaps they'll just simply bully then. which defeats the entire purpose of this, of taking away social media in the first place. Now I want to move on to the counter-argument. The counter-argument is obviously the very sentimental, people are dying. We must do something. Something has to be done to prevent these people from dying. And I really see this as a fundamental change that needs to be done. We need to advocate more anti-bullying campaigns. We need to get the message out there more. Simply taking away one of the bully tools, one of the ways that people are bullied, isn't going to change the fact that people are bullied. We need to take a proactive approach. Simply saying you can't do this anymore because you're bullying on it isn't going to solve the problem, because they'll simply find other ways to bully. The culture of bullying needs to change. People need to stop bullying. We can't simply just take something away and say now bullying will be gone, because it won't. They will simply find another way to do it at school, walking home, when they're hanging out with friends. There are various other ways that they can do this, and simply taking it away will not work. So the overarching theme here is that it doesn't solve the problem of bullying, and it has so many detriments to it that I previously explained that it simply will not be an effective way to do this. So for those three reasons, this must not occur. Thank you.